WandaVision was a show with a really weird and intriguing concept of sitcoms. It follows two characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I really liked and had personal investment in, and wanting to see how their journeys continue. Now, with the show over and some thoughts on how it ended, I really wanted to understand what the message was and how it really dealt with the consequences of the finale. And that's really what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Now, WandaVision was a show that came out earlier this year, and it follows Wanda and Vision in a sitcom-style show, parodying real life as it goes through the decades of sitcoms. Now, it seems weird because there are many scenes where it kind of stops being a sitcom and becomes, like, weird. Like the scene, for instance. With a lot of the mysteries and setups at the beginning, plus the reveal that Wanda's in control of everything, the show starts to focus more on Vision, and through his perspective, we start to see what's really happening to the citizens of Westview. He then tries out his powers on one of the citizens, which gives him his mind back again.
Please help me. What day is it? How long has it been?
In this same episode, we learn from Monica how she felt about being in Wanda's sitcom.
Pain. And then Wanda's voice in my head.
Did you try to resist?
There was this feeling keeping me down, this hopeless feeling, like drowning. It was grief.
We learn that the citizens are in extreme amount of pain, a feeling of their personalities being drowned, and that emotion Wanda feels. The grief, the anger, the depression, all of that. They feel all of that. And it's bad enough because their personalities are being swapped out for personalities that fit the sitcom.
The only lies I've told are the ones you put in my mouth.
So this is already horrible, but as we go on, we learn that Wanda keeps the children in their room asleep, and so that the parents are just without their children until Wanda needs them for the sitcom or storyline. And it's just horrifying because we already know that when they sleep, they feel everything. And so the kids are just asleep and devoid of emotion and everything, and they can't do anything. They can't fight Wanda because she's infinitely more powerful than them.
My name is Sarah. I have a daughter. She's 8. Maybe she could be friends with your boys. If you like that storyline. Or the school bully even. Really anything. If you could just let her out of her room. If I could just hold her. Please.
At the end of the 5th episode, we see Vision confront Wanda with concerns that she's hurting people. And Wanda throughout the episode was gaslighting Vision, telling him lies, almost to keep the illusion of a happy family. In the next episode, we watch Vision inspect the Hex and try to reach outside of Westview. We learn that the people at the edge of the town are kind of like zombies, and in terms of them just not moving and such, and they don't have anything to do because they're at the edge of town.
These people near the edge of town, they're barely moving. Are they alive?
So with all that being said, you get the idea that it's a horrible place to be in, and you wonder how the show will resolve this. So in episode 9, the finale, we see this scene, and it finally shows Wanda being confronted by the people that she's hurt throughout the whole show.
Ever.
I'm exhausted.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're all going to be fine.
And you let us sleep. We have your nightmares.
No, that's not true. I've kept you safe in here. You feel at peace. We feel your pain.
Your grief is poisoning us.
No.
If you won't let us go, just let us die.
To wrap this bow up nicely, the people would rather die than be under Wanda's brainwashing, which really tells you how painful it must really be. Now, I wouldn't be making this video if I thought it was handled well, and it wasn't, because after Wanda defeats the villain, she assumes the identity of a Scarlet Witch. After the battle, she dissolves the alternate reality and she gives up Vision and her children, which is this nice scene that she sacrifices and all that. But after, we get this scene with Monica.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
So this video's already described the terribleness of the enslavement and stuff, but this line completely changes how I look at WandaVision, because now I think the writers are trying to say Wanda is misunderstood and trying to free her of her consequences, like the part where Monica says sacrifice for them, but none of this was consenting and they were all basically kidnapped.
Given the chance and given your power, I'd bring my mom back.
Like I said, it feels like the writers want a scene where Monica relates to Wanda, but the show can't do that because they tacked on all this extra stuff about enslavement and stuff. Also, not to mention, with all Monica knows, she completely would enslave people just to bring her grandma back, and that's a subject that the show will never, ever talk about. So then Wanda apologizes to Monica for all the pain she's caused. And it's like, man, maybe she is sorry, but she's only apologizing to someone who was only there for half the time. And she only got a glimpse of it while other people got all of it. And she's not even apologizing directly to the faces of the people that she hurt. Imagine being a victim of Wanda's and you just have to hear "I'm sorry" not even to your face. But what about consequences? Like, what does the world think of this incident? Wanda's already a part of the whole Lagos thing from Civil War, and not to mention, this is the first thing she does after the events of the blip. So what kind of consequences do we get? And the show kind of just ends after this whole scene, so we don't know what happens. And since WandaVision's not getting another season, and Wanda herself as a character is going to appear in the next Doctor Strange movie, it's clear that this show doesn't want to talk about consequences at all. And it feels very disheartening that a show so concerned about grief and depression doesn't want to deal with the real world consequences that they set up and built throughout the last half of the show. I think the best thing we can hope for is a one-line reference in whatever Marvel movie or TV show that'll come out in the next coming years. And that's really sad. Some people may not have an issue with it, but this is one of the many things that stood out to me when I first finished the show. And honestly, it feels like the show built up something and didn't deliver at all. It makes the finale and message of the show kind of diluted in a way. Sure, Wanda got over her grief for Vision, but grief is an excuse to do horrible stuff to people. The show was promising, but the final part feels rushed. I would have hoped somebody would have at least tried to address this in a way that makes sense, given the stakes that they built up, but that just didn't work out that way. So yeah, that's my take on WandaVision and how the finale kind of crushes things. And if you agree or disagree, let me know. It is my opinion of how I think things went, and if you have a different view on things, go ahead and tell me. And that's my take on Wanda enslaving thousands of people, and see you later.